Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the report from Tiger Mountain. We're going to talk about Buddhism. We're going to talk about the Dalai Lama. He's been in some hot water of late, so stick around and listen, but we're going to try and do it respectfully, so let's give it a go. Namaste again, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is the report from Tiger Mountain. We're going to talk about the recent situation with the Dalai Lama. Let's have a look here. What's he been up to? Oh dear. Deary me. Well, he's, I don't know how to put it. He asked the boy to suck his tongue. Now, look, in normal circumstances, I'd say that's as dodgy as you can get, ladies and gentlemen. It was very strange, and he was doing it on camera in front of cameras from around the world. So what the hell was going on there? I think, he was like, give us a kiss or something. And I think maybe the boy kissed his cheek, and then he was like, stuck out his tongue and said, give us lick my tongue or something, suck my kiss, to quote a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers from the 1990s. So, that was deeply inappropriate. And obviously he did actually issue an apology for that. Now, I think a lot of people within the right-wing community instantly went, aha, there you go, look at that. Just like the Catholic priests, dodginess in the Buddhist priesthood, whether it be Tibetan, whether it be whatever. And, that might well be true, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I do think that there is a problem in the world's priest classes with this. I think it is a job that many homosexual men might have gone into, being a priest, whether it be a Catholic priest, an imam, or a Buddhist priest. So there probably is a kind of rampant homosexuality in these kind of communities. And sadly, it's kind of technically forbidden within those communities. So it's not as if they could actually have healthy relationships. So many of them, I think, formed unhealthy relationships with younger men and boys. So I think, that is a problem all over the world in essentially the priest class, whether it be Catholic, whether it be Muslim, or whether it be rabbis, or whether it be a Buddhist. So I think it's a problem all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. But what was going on with the Dalai Lama, I don't think that necessarily, maybe it was just a lack of judgment. He is getting on. Maybe it was a kind of what's it called, a seniors moment. But there is a tradition, apparently, this came out later, that there is some tradition where parents in Tibetan custom, they will give a sweet to children on their tongue or something. Maybe he was imitating that. Maybe, it was something along those lines. I must admit, I've never got a particularly bad vibe from the Dalai Lama before. He does seem interesting. He does seem to be a legitimate spiritual teacher. I've always sort of admired Buddhism. I'm myself a Christian, but I don't consider myself overtly dogmatic. I'm fascinated by the other world religions. The big four, which is, obviously Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Buddhism. Buddhism, to me, probably after Christianity, is the religion that most interests me. I just find something very interesting about it. I've travelled quite a bit in Southeast Asia and Asian countries. Obviously, Buddhism is everywhere there, from Japan to Thailand to Bali, etc. So it's fascinating. They use swastikas as a symbol of peace in those countries. It's really fascinating. The beliefs of Buddhism, so I think it's something everyone should look into. I've always got a pretty good vibe, so I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to give the Dalai Lama a pass here. I think that, it was probably misunderstood. Maybe it was a seniors moment. Obviously, it was, something that was dodgy. I even think he realises it later. Hopefully it was an isolated example. He hasn't done this before. It is slightly disturbing he does this in front of cameras, because what does he do in private? Is it a kind of symbolic of a kind of pedophile elite, the kind of Q conspiracy, believes is going? It could be, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he is dodgy. It is possible, but I think, let's look for other examples that this has taken place, because this one incident might just be a one-off thing, and you have to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes, because he has done a lot of good in some ways. And also too, another interesting thing about the Dalai Lama is because the Chinese government particularly hates him. So anything that's negative about the Dalai Lama, because apparently this event happened months ago, it happened in February, it only came out in the news cycle now. It's interesting the way that the news didn't run this story until, maybe it's Chinese propaganda. Obviously the Chinese government has has quite an interest in defaming and essentially sidelining the Dalai Lama due to their claims over Tibet. And obviously, as the war is brewing as it is now over Taiwan. I mean, I expect that to kick off in the next couple of months, probably, or maybe the next 6 months to a year. I think, it could have, what's going on with the Dalai Lama and this recent kind of negative publicity about it could have something to do with China, and obviously we don't want to go along with that. So it is a very difficult situation. Obviously it was kind of dodgy what happened. Hopefully it is a one-off incident. Let's see if anything else comes out, but, it's something to consider, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on there? And I think it is a much deeper issue about the priest class around the world. Obviously people have sexuality, and if people are gay within the priesthood, fine. They should be able to express their sexuality with adults, ladies and gentlemen, with adults, not with children. So, that's my thoughts on all that. And that's the report from Tiger Mountain for this week. Thank you.